Are you ready for some good news? Women, if you've experienced dishonor and shame, you can forgive and you can be healed. Sometimes it helps to hear an apology even if it isn't from your offender. Today's text is in Genesis chapter 3, starting at verse 6. She took of its fruit, speaking of Eve, ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Years ago, Sunday fell on a Valentine's Day, and I had an idea. What if every woman at church received a rose, and more than that, a word of honor from a gentleman? I planned to preach briefly about the need for men to honor women rather than blame them as Adam did Eve. As I sat meditating in my study on Friday morning, I just confessed to the Lord any of the ways that I might have dishonored my wife or any woman for that matter. And it was just one of those holy things. What began as a simple prayer grew into this torrent of grief for the dishonor that men have shown women. It was the holy presence of God that enveloped me, and I found myself lost in prayer for women everywhere. On Sunday morning, I preached only briefly before weeping and reading a written confession to women on behalf of the men who have hurt them. It's biblical to confess on behalf of others. Nehemiah did so on behalf of his forefathers. Confession simply means agreeing with. So if I confess to you on behalf of those who've harmed you, I'm not presuming to undo their offense. I'm merely agreeing with God's own heart that you have suffered what you were never meant to suffer. Perhaps it would help you to hear some of that confession. It's one you can find on our website and hear the whole thing, but it began like this. I've glimpsed the pain of the dishonored and shamed women in our world, and I believe God has sent me to you today to say I'm sorry for not honoring you. I'm sorry for the way that men have abandoned women. To every little girl whose daddy was too busy at work to notice her play school art, for every dance recital that we missed because of needing to work late one more night, for every preacher's daughter whose father was out saving the world but didn't notice he was losing his own girl, I'm truly sorry. Well, I gave this long confession, and hundreds of men joined me Sunday morning in this deep repentance and compassion. And then, like a scene from heaven, men began handing out roses to the women, and every woman received a red rose with an assurance from a man, a rose for a rose. The sweet aroma of all these hundreds of roses filled the room, and the aroma of Christ filled all of our hearts. You can forgive, and you can be free. And that's the gospel. That's today's daily devotional. And again, you can get this whole message of our radio broadcast from our website. And you can click here for more devotionals like this one, or better yet, subscribe to this channel and get them all. I hope you have a great weekend.